Corey here. So it looks like I'm doing some videos because a lot of interest in mesh networks. We have some repeaters here, mesh networks, backs here, and I'm going to do a review. And this is a TDEC. For those who don't know, this allows you to communicate over LoRa, which means long range, and you can have encrypted text, private messaging, long range with your family. And so I create family packs customized for the family unit with the idea of, hey, if the grid goes down, you're probably going to be near your house. And so I make a circular type mesh topography. And that's why I have a family pack with 11 different devices for a reason. And so the other pack has 9 devices, but today we're going to talk about this repeater. This was sent to me, and very good quality. Okay, so it comes from China, and they're like, would you review my product? And I don't much like what China does to our infrastructure. And I don't usually do review videos. I'm not the typical YouTuber. But regardless, I mean, the YouTube videos about mesh are super surface. You guys not know you can like trigger events and AI responses, and I mean, yeah, we need to realize what we have here and what we can build just based on the fact that mesh networks, the code, it's open source code. All right, so let's talk about this here. I make these American made, you could say, assembled from Chinese parts. But I put differences aside. I really thought it was going to be crap, actually, because I bought this other Chinese one. And maybe I'll do a review on this, guys. Well, in certain scenarios, maybe you'll enjoy this, but I like to have be able to optimize my antenna. And this, you just got to drill a hole and crack the thing up. Plus, this one has holes right here. Look, waterproof. It looked like water running right in there, right down the crack into the hole. What it looks like to me. Now, maybe they have some unique vent type deal, which I'm actually thinking about making some unique vents. We want them watertight, keep humidity out, but I have an idea. I'm going to run it through some AI engines to see how it works. But this is one, I don't personally like these. I mean, it's good if you got to like run up a PVC pole and stick up something real quick. So, yeah, but I don't know. I don't like it so much. But this one actually surprised me. Okay. Actually surprised me. When I got it out of the box, right here, they sent it to me. I went viral on Facebook and all kinds of stuff happening. And I jumped into Meshtastic and I found out they're doing a great job developing, but the people have no idea what they're developing. These mesh groups, not to put anyone down, but these mesh groups are full of people trying to figure out mesh. And then there's some that actually know what they're doing. Few, actually, and usually they're silent. They're just watching to see if new innovation comes out. And so I was able to meet a lot of people. But I guess they saw me on Facebook. So they said, hey, will you review this? It's called the D5 LoRa. It just says by Keep Team, D5 LoRa. And there's other vendors. I think we already have a vendor in America. So I'll see what to do about the link, and I'll put that in the description or however it goes. This is like my first review video. But I'm not just going to do reviews. All right. I'm going to talk to you about my family kit. Yeah, I'll try to sell my family kit. I think every family man should have my family kit. There's some problems with this one, and there's some great benefits with this one. And I did not bring my screwdriver, so I will cut the video and be back. Voila. All right, there's a few issues I have with this, and there's a lot of things I like about it. A lot. Okay, this is definitely I'm going to have one. Okay, even though I have my family kit, love my stuff, I'm gonna have one of these simply because for like close quarters, like close to, all right, the way I like to think of a mesh is a circle with me in the center. All right, yes, I'll go out and about past my repeaters, but I create a circle of repeaters with router in the middle. That'll help you a lot if you can understand that, or run it through Grok, run it through your AI. ChatGPT will probably lie to you, by the way, on stuff like this. You have to use mathematics to get and then check the math. All right. So, anyways, here's what I like. Very solid. I pulled it out of the box. Solid. This is one of the best 3D print jobs I feel like, or maybe most. I mean, it's not. There's no flex in it. This panel here, they say is 5 watts. I guess 5 watts. They claim, real high efficiency. All right. And the other thing, 2 antenna exits. Very nice. Now we're gonna, just to let you know what this will turn into, you guys playing with Meshtastic will turn into you running devices with mini antennas. All right, because you're gonna want to see if there's drones. You're gonna want to fly your drone. You can do a lot. And this board does open up some potential with the 2 antenna array, if that's how you radio folk say it. And I need to say something. So I'm gonna be new to YouTube. I guess I'm doing YouTube. I had over 5 million views. I had like 30,000 comments on Facebook. So I'm coming to YouTube to talk about mesh and why everyone should have private encrypted communication for their family. But we're going to grow and I'm going to teach some things. And I can tell you the drone guys over here are like, man, why is mesh so at the bottom right now with their chip technology, with their case technology? Why are they only using 1 antenna? Why are they only using 1 frequency? Why are they not using private channels? Why don't they understand what they have? Because the drone guys are using all kind of stuff, all kind of antennas, and they understand frequency range and they understand what we're doing here when you explain, hey, we're hopping frequencies. So the way that it works is, yeah, you create a mesh and you can you're hopping different devices to reach your final destination. But I just want to give a bit of backstory because I'm into computer programming and networking, cybersecurity, and I run a marketing business. So I'm doing all kind of stuff online. Well, and I know a lot about SDR. I know a lot about ham radio and GMRS, MERS, FRS, all that. So I jumped into Meshtastic just, like a month ago. People say, oh, well, you're not qualified. Okay, dude, I build computers and I deal with stuff way more complicated than this. All right, this is like the easiest thing I deal with. And I went to college for networking in like 2000, like 22 years ago, all right? 22, 23 years ago. I went to college for networking. I loved it. It was my favorite class. And I learned a lot about how, first, the programming side helps with the understanding of correct logic, and then networking helps, computer networking, because these are networks, but they're not. They're meshworks, okay? So a lot of network engineers, a lot of IT guys, you got to understand this. This is a multi-level thing. And I like to think in 3 levels. You got like the birds chirping in the top, and I'll explain what is the chirp spectrum spread. Let's have a tongue twister. Chirp spectrum spread. And my mouse dry, just woke up. But I'll explain what that means. And the best way to explain that, I love this way, is like birds chirping in different tones from the tops of the trees. It makes it very hard to jam, by the way. People will hate and say, oh, I can hack this. I'm going to address that too in this video right now. They'll be like, oh, I can hack that with my Flipper Zero or my Marauder board or my Kali. Guys, save all that, dude. We're way beyond that. The people that are watching this are way beyond your Flipper Zero. And if you're not, I'm going to explain it to you guys as well. If you're tech illiterate, I'm going to post this like my #1 on the channel, right? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be real. I'm glad I have this. I'm more glad I have this. This will have a place in my mesh for sure. And it is very efficient. And we're going to do a review on it. But you guys have to understand, this is my first video. So I want to talk about some things so you understand. I have a background in teaching tech. And yes, we're in my garage. We're going to start out like that and see what happens. Because I have a friend, 3D printing. And he 3D prints for people that build computers. I just found him, and for other stuff too. And he's gonna be 3D printing some cool stuff that we'll have on the show. And he does like for your all your tools, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, going back, I didn't want to do this, but I had so many people asking, requesting. There's hardly any knowledge on this that is beyond super beginner. There's some guys out there that like shout out. Like 8 years ago, we're explaining this to people, but it's like people are stuck 8 years ago. All right, so enough said. I'll talk more and introduce myself more, my history, where I came from. Lived in Nicaragua 10 years, 11 years, have a farm there. Came to America to help you all with comms. One of the reasons comms go out in Nicaragua a lot. And I had kits that I offered. I assembled what I called the off-grid computer and communication kit over the past 2 years. And that it's a whole kit, SDR tools, comes with a Raspberry Pi, 2 operating systems, 2 ham radios, software on it to flash your ham radios, your GMRS, your FRS, all that, your weather channels, comes with Chirp, open source on Linux, Ubuntu, open source operating system, so that it will work without the internet. So you can have all these apps on your off-grid computer. I should have brought a kit, but I'll do a review on my kit too. I have multiple kits, but I'm just going to bring this out. And I know you guys may see these, and I know you guys are seeing me on Facebook, so voila. And all of you guys who have been hating on me, guess what? Look at the likes. They outnumber you by a factor of like, I don't know. Imagine, I think there was 100,000 likes on one and probably 40 or 50 people that hate it. And they think they're the majority, kind of like the communists in America. They think they're the majority. All right, so here's what we got. 2 antenna potential breakdown. 2.4 gigahertz. You can do your Bluetooth. You can do your Wi-Fi. All right. Heltec chip does have Wi-Fi, so I have not done it yet, but I did see a guy take the coil and just solder an antenna on. And I saw where a guy took it off and soldered down on the Heltec. So that's a good place for this device, is having it close to you. Like maybe you have it on the back side or something, back behind your office, and then have my Wi-Fi and I can access different things via this Bluetooth or not Wi-Fi. I would use Bluetooth Low Energy is what I would use. But and I may switch it up. I don't know. I'm going to use this for various things. So let's go ahead and get into it. And what I noticed first off, so I like to test, and I'm testing different chips, and they have this normally comes for the rack wireless 4631, but they can modulate. They can create different boards like this. All right, so here's what we got. And this thing has been running for 4 days. This is the 4th day. All right, and you can see we're still at 75% charge. All right, people don't believe me, but and I did do some configurations. People say you can't get the Heltec chip to run on this. This ran 4 days, and you can check the mesh groups on Facebook. Shout out for you guys helping this stuff go viral and not kicking me out the group. One survival group kicked me out for talking about mesh, or a post. My sister posted, "Hey, look what my brother made. This is good for survival," and they blocked. It went viral. They banned it. Or removed it, and so I joined, read the rules, and did a very light post to test those admins. And yeah, they straight up kicked me out. And so I said, well, I'll post in 10 groups. And shout out to the mesh community, guys, open source mesh people out there. Yeah, dude, it's what's up. I'm helping people. Yeah, I'm selling these, and yeah, I'm making money doing it. You want me to do it for free? I got other jobs. I'm a farmer. I got a farm. Okay. So yeah, I built excellent configurations. I got a big background in technology, and yeah, I charge for it. So let's look at this. I had 3 batteries in, but I took one out because I was building a solar LED light, which I'll grab one of those here later. But it's just an LED solar light with a nice antenna running in it. But it had 3 batteries in it, and it stayed at like 80% charge for 3 days. It was 77% after 3 days. So I took a battery out and we dropped 7%. No, we're at 75. So over all night, I only dropped 2%. This has a 5-volt in charge, very efficient. I tracked it not with a multimeter, but with my solar panel or my solar charger. It'll tell me, and it was drawn 4. So we're gonna go to some new levels with this stuff, and I'm gonna teach you some stuff. Not a lot. We're not gonna go into like crazy stuff. Maybe we'll see. What do you guys want? But they also had this. This is for the rack, and then they have one right here, 3D printed for the Heltec, and it slides right in. Okay, it's pretty cool. So it slides in, and then you put your cover on. Now, I do want to say this about the cover and about I like to test. I had to change the screws out. All right, where's the other screws? Well, I probably just threw them away because after the second time opening the back, you know, I could tell I was stripping out those screws. So get you some screws. These ones right here, I don't have the exact number, but you know, get your little. If you're gonna be in the mesh, get you a little screw kit. You know, Harbor Freight, whatever, and threw some stainless steel screws in there. Now, the next thing I want to talk about. So application is you can use the Heltec. So this can do more. That's why it's a power hungry power hog. And the people that say, well, Corey, you know, there's no way you had 3-4 days on a Heltec V3. Those are power draining. Well, actually, it did it. I'll put a video camera up and show you, but it'll go much longer. This will probably go. I could probably get this to go 12 days. And one of the main reasons is you got to turn Bluetooth off. You got to plug from the app. You got to use the tool and turn Bluetooth off. And you got to make sure it's off and reset it. Like, that's a big thing. This does not even have sleep mode on. It has screen off after, I think, 45 seconds. So this right now is connected to my private home network. Private home network, not the Meshtastic open channel. Now, the reason I say it like that is because people will try to give me advice and give you advice. All right. They're wanting you to put a node up high, help the community. Great, do that. Yeah. But build a private network for your family. Okay. That's where this excels. I believe it was created for events and large regional events that need a secure encrypted comms, and that's what this gives you. So at the center, you have a router. At your outer perimeter, you have repeaters, and in your inner circle, you have relays, and then you have like 50 clients up if you set that up right. And then it works lovely. People, and you can put it at multi-level. All right, so I'm trying to explain a lot, review, because you got to know this thing does have a place with its out-of-the-box dual antenna, big battery storage. So one of the other things with the dual antenna is you can do frequency hopping, all right? And that's what's cool. That's what really excites me about these chips, by the way, is you have the ability in a grid down scenario, SHTF scenario, to do what's called a frequency override. And basically what that means is you can put in all kind of frequencies. This thing will do what you tell it. And within a range, I think it's probably 400 to 900. but megahertz. So it's sub gigahertz. And everyone's like, yeah, my Flipper Zero is going to get you. I got a sub gigahertz app. No, it will not. You would have to stand at my front door and my chirp spread spectrum, I'm just going to say CSS, you guys are going to have to figure it out, is going to crush your Flipper Zero. All right. And if not, well, it will. But if you come with something bigger to jam, this open source code, you can get beyond all that. But we're here. So what do we need? We need better chips. That's what we need. And we need boxes like this that are going to be modular. So say I want to connect to Wi-Fi. So yeah, that's probably his idea here is you want to connect to the mesh server, a mesh server, and you want to use Wi-Fi right here. So, I mean, that's what's up. And you can do that with this board. And I'm going to put the rack in there. That's what this ideally is for. So that would make sense because I was always like, why are you guys putting such big batteries? Because it doesn't increase, people say increase your range if you have a bigger battery to a certain degree. But like some people are hooking up bike batteries and stuff trying to get more. That's not how it works. You have a power limit on these things. That's why we can use them. You can't just blast out whatever power you want from a bigger battery. Okay, I'm sure that, but putting the 4 batteries, I can get 4 in and close this up to the top. I can get 4 batteries in and put it right there. So I'll put 4 batteries in, and if I want to connect to a gateway node, boom, 2.4. And then from that gateway, maybe I want to do some things. And that's what we should be talking about because that gives you private security for your home. You know, they try to build smart cities, but they're building them on proprietary software companies that keep doing them wrong. So even smart cities are failing. And LoRa technology is one solution. And I'm going to give a little word for all you evil people that may be working with LoRa. Here's the deal. We know how to make computer chips. All right. So there's no stopping mesh. And the code is open source. We know how to make the chips. So don't try anything funny or we'll make a different chip. We'll make a different protocol better because that can be improved as well. CSS. So it's very important that I say this because all I'm seeing is fluffy people talking about fluffy ideas. Well, you can have a whole multi-county wide system for your family, right? Like if the grocery store, I got to go a ways, all right? And maybe my wife wants to tell me something without 50 million people selling my data. So it's come to this time where we can either choose, in my opinion, to go further down the road of big tech control or start taking dominion over our lives, which is also why I sell off-grid computers. They're not off-grid. They work on the internet, but if the internet goes down, they'll still work because they're computers that have open source tools on it. So yeah, I would say go ahead and check this out. I'll put the link down in the bio. And if you want to reach me for any reason, you go to kingdombusinesslifestyle.com, kingdombusinesslifestyle.com. And right when you get there, get on my email list because I'm going to hire a team. This stuff went viral. It's a legit industry and business, and there's no way that this can fail because there's new meshes. I got messaged by someone last night says, hey, I developed a new mesh. You want to beta test it? What do you got? And they're already building better meshes. They know it can't be stopped. It's like gunpowder. You can't stop people from making gunpowder. They're going to keep on doing it. So, and this allows us to have low powered, all you ham guys, all you military guys, think about this. Under 1 watt transmission, if you keep it into a team of like 8, that's ideal number for low profile comms. And you can develop out so it's not blasting too many signals. You can do a lot of cool stuff for hiking, guys. If you're out hiking and one goes over the mountain, goes over another mountain, the other one's up here on the top, you're going to get to talk to that person down there if they're in line of sight. And even you can talk through thick brush with mesh technology where we're at. And so people will keep saying, is this Meshtastic, Mesh Core? I'm going to be using all of that and trying it all out and probably developing my own firmware setup for better chips. Because there's chips that all the hackers that are coming in seeing LoRa, they're like, why are you guys using these little chips? The drum, everybody's like, why are they only using? So it's like they in the mesh network, they've been throwing y'all crumbs of chips. I'm sorry to say, Heltec, I like my T114. What the heck though? Extremely slow. And I get it, power efficient, but I mean, this will run 74 days without sun. That's how power efficient they are, which is great. Low key, that's what we want. What I'm saying is they can do much more. We can create, we should create, I think, innovate with the drone world. Hackers, get on the side of good because it's much better to be on the side of good, I'll tell you that. And I hope that you guys will consider helping, because look, you could have a business consulting people on how to build a mesh correctly. You guys will understand this stuff. And it has AES-256 encryption out of the box. You could put another encryption on it. So yeah, I'm going to be giving you guys tons of ideas here, I guess. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So go ahead and subscribe. And why don't you, if you watch 30 minutes of me talking about all this, why don't you get on my email list, kingdombusinesslast.com, and share it with a friend. So yeah, welcome to the channel. And I think that's all